Okay, here we go. Week 8, NFL FanAd. I want to point out that this video is really divided into 3 sections. The first section is where we're going to analyze last week's results and just go through a little bit of the results and what we decided we were going to use in our FanDuel contest, how we fared in the contest, what the results looked like. Second section is analyzing the featured games for this week. And the last section, which is about 10 minutes, is where you can learn how to use the FanAd number indicators and how to interpret them and how to use them on your own so that you don't have to rely on me to help you interpret them each week. Plus, you'll probably want to get the full FanAd, and I only analyze about 3 or 4 games each week. So we strongly recommend you listen to the end of this video, the 10 minutes at the end if you haven't already. Okay, let's dig into the analysis for week 8. Before we get started, I want to point out that we generally would review last week's results in the contest that we entered, but we didn't enter any contests. We actually forgot.
What are you, just a big, dumb, stupid, doofy idiot with a doofy idiot hairdo?
The game started, we got busy and actually forgot to even put any entries in. So we don't have any results. Hopefully you guys did okay. So let's just start in this week and analyze a couple games. Right now, if you look at the screen, I'm showing you a shot that I'm going to analyze these 2 games. You can get 2 extra games, 2 bonus games by submitting your email address to us in the slot below this video. And then if you want the full FanAd, which I recommend obviously, because then you can create or you can analyze games that are in other contests besides the one we're going to do, and you don't have to rely on me. Click the red button for that. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link in the description below the video where you can click and come to a page where you can get both of those. Again, I'm going to analyze only 2 games this week, the ones you see on the screen. But if you want 2 extra bonus games for free and these 2 games emailed to you, submit your email address below this video. Okay, so we always start with looking for our quarterbacks. Again, these 2 games are in an actual FanDuel contest, so we just thought let's try a 2-game contest. The team power ratings aren't important to us when we're doing FanDuel, so with cross, put a big X through those. Where do we want to get our quarterback? Okay, there's nothing blue, and we're always looking for blue.
You're my boy, Blue!
Because that's we just highlight blue when the power ratings are above average or high above average. We don't have that today or in this contest, so we just look for the highest PR ratings, and that's going to be Washington quarterback. So we're going to just leave it at that. We're going to use Washington. We wouldn't use Houston because they're red PR plus or PR numbers. You could use Seattle or Dallas. They're neutral, but Washington's higher, so we're just going to leave it at that. We're going to use Washington as our quarterback.
Are we clear?
Running backs, we're going to use Houston with these blue power ratings, and we're going to use Dallas with these blue power ratings. We could use, maybe Washington, but even though it's blue, it's less than Houston and Dallas, and we're going to bank on the quarterback to hit his receivers, because if we move on to receivers, all the receivers are red, so we're not interested in those except for Washington. So I don't know if we're going to get a lot of separation in this contest, but what we're going to, and then going on to defense, we'll probably put maybe 2 entries in, and those 2 entries will both have Washington as a quarterback. They'll have running backs from Houston and Dallas, and then we'll probably put 1 entry with the defense from Houston and 1 with the defense from Seattle, because they've both got blue PR ratings. So again, 2 entries. Washington in both the entries as a quarterback, running backs from Houston and Dallas, wide receivers from Washington. 1 of the entries will have Houston as a defense, 1 of the entries will have Seattle as a defense. Not probably, again, going to get a lot of separation. Our confidence level this week is probably, it's tough. I mean, there is some separation here, not a lot, but there's some. I think there's going to be people that are going to use Dallas as quarterback. You might get some separation using Washington quarterback. So our confidence in putting 2 entries in, if we put 4 entries in and spread things out a little bit, which we might do.
Are you doing that on purpose? Or can't you make up your mind?
we'd be at about a 5 confidence level that we can at least make a profit, not lose money. Again, if you want to get the full FanAd, click the red button below this video. If you want to get 2 extra bonus games plus these games emailed to you, submit your email address to us below this video. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can click the link in the description below the video. And then finally, right after this, after I close out here on this, at the end of this, we have a 10-minute tutorial instructional video that you can look at to understand how to interpret the FanAd numbers that I'm showing you right here. And you can do this all on your own, again, without relying on me. That's just a free 10-minute tutorial that'll explain to you how to use the numbers. Good luck in your games, and we'll be back next week. Wow, week 9 already. And get the analysis done for next week. Again, good luck. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is this is going to be a fairly in-depth explanation of how to use these FanAd NFL indicators. And so it's not a professional video. You know, it might be a few ums and ahs, but I want to take you through, and if you haven't watched this whole thing, we strongly recommend you do so, because then you can do your interpretation yourself and you don't have to rely on me. First thing I'll point out is that we've got all these numbers we have one for the full team power rating. That just takes all the stats, the quarterback ratings, the running back, wide receiver, tight end, defense, and everything. It just kind of brings them all together and gives you a team number. The lower the higher the better. Blue is always good.
You're my boy, Blue!
And red is always bad. Black is neutral. So we've got a power rating for the team, a power rating for the quarterback alone, a power rating for the running backs, a power rating for the wide receivers, which also includes the tight ends, and a power rating for the team defense. Now, before I go any further there, and we're going to assume this is an actual contest, so we'll kind of go through and show you how we would use these numbers, how we would interpret them to come up with our lineups and our, what players we're going to use, or what teams we're going to use players from. But I want to just jump over here, and again, this is going to be very informal, but I want to jump over and show you a little bit of the stats and the data that go behind these into the algorithm that create these power ratings.
Some of that secret sauce.
So if I jump over here to my spreadsheet, again, this is going to be fairly informal. So here you see all these numbers, and we spent a good 1.5 or 2 years putting these numbers together and putting these algorithms together. But you can see that if I just scroll around here, we take each matchup for the week, and it pulls in, how the defense does, how the offense does, how many interceptions, how many fumbles, the quarterback ranking, pass yards, rush yards, all that information for each team, and it creates a power ranking or power number that then comes out and goes into. So again, if I've got other, there's other tabs in here, there's more data, but you can kind of get a good idea. There's just a lot of data that goes into it. So the value of using this FanAd for creating your weekly lineups is that you don't have to do all this research. We do it all for you.
Okay, I'll make it as easy for you as I can.
And the FanAd comes out in a nice format with these numbers based on all that data. So again, let's go through here now and assume these games are in a contest that we're going to enter on FanDuel. Let's just assume we're going to enter one on FanDuel. And we're going to first of all go through and try to find our quarterback. Now you can see here that we've got 2 power ratings for each position. We've got a power rating that has the 2016 and 17 stats, and we've got a power rating that has only the 2017 stats. The reason that's important, at least early in the season, is that we don't have a lot of data for to put into 2017. There's only if this is week 2 as we record this, we've only got data from week 1, whereas last year we got data from all the 16 weeks. The problem with last year's data is things have changed, right? Teams have drafted new players, they've traded players, they maybe have a different quarterback in some cases, so it could be misleading. So we're going to give you, at least for a while, we're going to give you both the combined 2016-17 and then the 2017 only.
Are we clear?
So if we now the idea here is to try to gain separation. Again, you want to get separation from the other people that are going to be entering the contest. So if you're just putting in Captain Obvious bets,
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
everyone else is going to have the same bets or the same teams, the same players. So you want to try to find separation. So what we do is we go through and find a quarterback. We obviously, again, we're focusing on blue. So we've got a blue 244 here, which is great. Let's go down. Here's a couple. These are really good power ratings for the quarterback, and we got a 236 here. So we would obviously avoid, anything with red PR numbers and black. There's enough blue where we don't have to consider anything that's black, that's neutral. So our quarterbacks are going to be chosen from either the LA Rams, Green Bay, Atlanta, or Detroit. And we'll just table that for now. So let's go through and look at our running backs. Again, all this is red, so we're not interested in any running backs this week. Again, these will change. If for instance, if Washington were facing a different team, those power ratings would be different. This is based on how these teams will face each other today, or whatever day we're playing. So we're not interested in anything in red for the running back. We've got a right here. We've got a 213. Came down a little bit for just 2017 alone data. So, but it's still, that's pretty good. There's not a whole lot of blue here, so we don't really have a whole lot to choose from. We've got for 2017, we've got Detroit. Their running backs did pretty well the first week. 187 black for other weeks, so we wouldn't be interested. So this is pretty difficult, but
Of course, I'm not bright about doing things.
it looks to be that we would take our running backs from Seattle and probably from Detroit. Take a running back from each one of those teams, or maybe you want to take two from Seattle and just hope that one of them does well, so you don't have to worry about not picking the right one. Let's go to wide receivers. Again, red, not interested. Here's some really high. I mean, 299 and 270, 299 for 2017. So the LA Rams look pretty good for wide receivers and tight ends. Again, not interested here. We just skip right over the red stuff. We don't need to deal with it. Here is neutral, and then for 2017 they both went red, so probably wouldn't be that interested. But down here we've got, for Detroit, we've got really good power ratings for the wide receivers for Detroit. So we would take wide receivers from the LA Rams and wide receivers from Detroit. Finally, we come down over here and we look at the defenses. So this one we're not interested in. It came down in 2017. It wasn't even good in 2016. The Rams defense is good. We consider that. San Francisco and Seattle both have good defensive numbers. We could consider both Green Bay. Well, actually, we won't. We'll take these out because they have neutral for 2016-17. They both came up for 17, but that's just one game's data, like I mentioned. And then you've got Detroit, who's got a good both last year and this year for the one game. So the defenses, we could go with either the Rams, San Francisco, Seattle, or Detroit. So if you're putting multiple entries in, you just mix and match those up. So again, let's back up and look at our quarterbacks. We would probably put in, if we were entering this contest, we'd probably put in 4 entries. One with the Rams quarterback, one with the Green Bay quarterback, one with Atlanta quarterback, and one with Detroit quarterback. On all those entries, we put in running backs from Seattle and probably from Detroit. And on all those entries, we put in receivers from the Rams and from Detroit. Now that's kind of interesting, a little bit contradictory there. If you look at Detroit, you're using running back and wide receiver. We might just say, okay, this isn't that great a rating. It's only one game, it was 187, so we might take it out. We actually might put both Seattle starting running backs in on all the entries because they look, they don't have great, their wide receiver ratings are bad, so they'll probably use their running backs. So let's just adjust that and update that. We're going to put both Seattle running backs in this contest. Wide receivers we're going to use from the Rams and from Detroit, and our defense we're either going to use the Rams, San Francisco, Seattle, or Detroit.
Are you doing that on purpose? Or can't you make up your mind?
And we probably would just pick the best one, even though there's not a lot of separation, which would be the Rams, and go with that. So I think I'm going to end it there. Hopefully that gives you a good idea how to interpret these numbers.
Did that go the way you thought it was going to go?
I should go back here and just talk about the team rating because we didn't use that at all in our analysis. Because that's more, probably the team rating is best used if you're betting Vegas style. So if you're putting in a bet in Vegas for the over/under or the winning team, you'd probably want to look for, so let's say we're going to bet the winning team. We'd probably look for a red versus a blue and pick the blue. So in this case, we take the Rams. Down here, this is another good one. We'd probably take Detroit against the Giants. If you come down here and look at these, you got a high blue and a low red so you take Detroit to win. If you're looking to bet an over, you'd look for games where you have both teams are red. If you want to bet an under, you look for a team that has both teams that are blue. So there, I'll leave it. Hopefully that was valuable to you, and using this data, using these power ratings, hopefully you'll get some separation. You can do the analysis yourself, and you don't have to rely on me every week to do it for you. Good luck in all your contests, and we'll do the analysis for each week. Usually on Thursday, we'll get that to you, hopefully by around noon.